Hey, welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, and you have arrived at Streaming Idiots. My condolences. Somehow you got here, and it's like, how did I get here? Gee whiz. And who is this crazy guy? Anyway, and here I am looking at the chat room, seeing that the wife has got me on the full screen on the TV set. Gee whiz. I said I wasn't going to look at chat. I'm sorry. Let me start that again. Hey, I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. Everything you never wanted to know about streaming. You know, come here and learn from my mistakes. I make the mistakes so you don't have to, and we have a lot of fun doing it. We've got a bunch of folks in the chat room today, and we've been having a good time in the pre-show. So if you're watching us on YouTube after the fact, this is my invitation to you to come join us on a Wednesday afternoon, Eastern time. It's 3 o'clock in the USA, whatever time that would be where you are. Come join us live and get in on the pre-show where we talk about things before the show. And then, of course, we have the show. And then afterwards, we have the post-show. And so there's a lot of fun with that. And you can get in on that if you're watching us live. If you're watching us live today on Facebook or YouTube, welcome. Glad you're here. Would love to have you come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com. Whoop, here we are right there. And then you can see the chat and join in with the chat. We've got a lot of folks there. And these, and the wife is saying, woo, I made Tom look at the chat. Oh my goodness, gee whiz. We've got to do something about this. I got to learn how to ban people. No, I'm just teasing. No, but come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com now, live, and get in on the chat so you can see the chat during the show. We project the chat up on the screen during the pre-show and post-show. So if you were watching us live and all of a sudden the chat's gone, that's why you need to come to easternshorebroadcasting.com and join the chat. So we're glad you're here. And by the way, if you're watching us on YouTube, or even if you're not watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to us on YouTube. And you may want to follow us on Facebook. We've got a page there, Eastern Shore Broadcasting. We've got Twitter. If you go to Eastern Shore Broadcasting, you can find the Facebook and Twitter stuff there. And a lot of times, if we have something special coming up, we'll post it on Facebook or Twitter. We don't do a lot of that stuff. It's just when there's a reason to do it. It's not like, we're pumping the feed with something every 20 minutes, to develop whatever it is they develop. And I follow some folks that do that. And, maybe 1 in 10 posts is something of interest to me. And the rest of it's just spam, actually. And so I don't want to spam you. I'm just going to put the good stuff out there. And the wife got me again. Gee whiz, that makes 3 times. Really exciting show today. Of course, vMix, the boys at vMix down in Australia, Gold Coast, Australia, which is kind of like Orlando in the USA, except it's on the water. It's a beautiful place. I hope to go there one day. They had their monthly vMix Fun Time live show on Tuesday, which, of course, here in the U.S. was Tuesday morning at 4 a.m. I got up and watched. Did you? I mean, come on, guys. It was a lot of fun. And fortunately, I'm one of those people that can go back to sleep immediately, no matter where. So that was a good deal. But they had a lot of really interesting things to share, some of which I'm going to kind of recap here. But it's not going to be a recap of their show. So don't worry about that. Probably the biggest news, I thought, had nothing to do with vMix. And that is that there was a product. Was it really a product? Oh, maybe it was just a rumor. There was a rumor going down at NAB in Las Vegas back in April that a company out of Australia, not vMix, but another company, had come up with a device that you could mount on a camera, HDMI, SDI, you could mount on a camera and plug Ethernet into it, your network into it, and it would be NDI. So your camera would suddenly become an NDI video source, live video. Plug in Ethernet, got a camera on the other end, boom, you got it go. The company's name was BirdDog TV, and I think it's actually BirdDog.tv. So you can look them up on the internet, and they've got Facebook presence and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. So, they said we're taking pre-orders for June. Well, June came and went. We saw no product. But apparently they were out in that wild, wild west kind of place up in Amsterdam for IBC. And they shared that they were in pre-production, which I guess means they're getting all the templates right, all the patterns set, getting all the things that are going to be going in there, and they're going to put the little piece parts on there and solder them in, and they're getting ready to start producing these rascals. Now this is going to be a game changer. This is going to be a game changer. Suddenly any camera can be. I mean, it means that your legacy cameras that had HDMI or SDI. Suddenly can be plugged into the network and be available on any PC on the network that's running, an NDI product like vMix, for example. It's gonna retail somewhere in the $600 to $700 range, and that for those crazy people that are the first early adopters, they're going to run right out and grab them, and hopefully, if the production numbers do well, the price is going to drop. Or somebody's going to buy one and reverse engineer it and, get a Chinese knockoff for, $45 like they have the HDMI to SDI converters. But it's going to be a game changer. And of course, new technology, game-changing technology, frequently is overpriced to begin with. So we got to take that with a grain of salt and say, is it worth it for me in this particular, does it make financial sense? That's really the idea. If you've got a $2,500 camera that, you're having trouble getting into the system because it's too far away, or you want to be able to share it and it has to go through a capture card and through a computer and through a whole network, maybe it makes financial sense to spend the $700 and make that camera NDI compatible. Now, I will say I had a show, what was it? It was probably before NAB, where I really beat up hard on Panasonic because they were saying their camera was NDI compatible. It wasn't NDI compatible. If you used an NDI app on your PC and plugged your camera into it, then the camera image could be shared over the internet. Well, I did a follow-up on that where I showed that my Jack Russell Terrier, Rooney, was NDI compatible too by doing the same thing. So this, however, is true NDI compatibility. Can't wait to see it. Bird/dog.tv NDI camera interface. Thank you, TCB. So that's pretty cool. Let's keep a close eye on that, and let's keep a close eye on any competitors that bring out products. Is Blackmagic going to come out with something? Is AJA coming out with something? Those would be two that I would think would be right on the cusp. Can we nudge those folks at Magwell, to those curmudgeons at Magwell to get off their fannies and design something like this? What about the folks at Yuan? They're kind of a low-cost provider. Are they going to try to engineer something like this? Or are they waiting to see if bird-dog.tv can make a go of it? My hat's off to bird-dog.tv. Go get them, guys. Go get them, guys. Next up, vMix 18 beta is coming out next month. Actually, today is September 28th. October is 5 or 6 days away. We count differently down here in Alabama. October is when it comes out. Could it come out October 1st? Now, what's in 18? Well, that's the thing. 18 has got data sources, it's got activators, and it's got a new revised old feature. Now, this is a feature I've never ever used, but I think I might find a good use for it. It's called List. It's an input called List, where basically you can take all of your videos or photos or music or whatever and put it in a list and then play it sequentially or reorder it and play it. And so for folks that are doing 24/7 TV, the list is the way to do, because it means you don't have, if you've got, 49 things that you would like to queue up to show or play, You don't have to put 49 inputs into vMix. You can put them into one list and then manage them like this. Now, the guys at vMix were kind enough to talk about the list. So I think I have them queued up. Let's see if we can get them right where they are. And yeah, let's let them talk about it. Be right back.
I should have a drum roll here. Brrr, I've got a laser. Here we go.
So first, let's recap. vMix 18 has, we've talked about 2 features so far in 18. We've talked about the new activators. You can turn on lights in response to different things you're doing in your production on MIDI controllers and X keys. And we talked about the data sources, how you can bring in data from a whole lot of different places. CSV, Excel, it's all accessible from a burger menu. That's why Tim put up the burgers. The burger menu is just 3 horizontal lines that represent a menu on mobile devices. We've added that to vMix. So that's what's in there so far. So the final feature we're talking about today in vMix 18 is the new list updates. So customers have been talking to us and saying, hey, you know, we like the list feature, but in the middle of our hectic production, we may want to change the videos in the list quickly. We may want to turn some on, turn some off. For example, an ad break in a sports game, they may want to change the videos really quickly. So we thought, okay, we need to make the list UI a little bit easier to access. And I'm going to do a demo right now for you all to show you the new list functionality. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a desktop capture so you guys can see what's going on. So we'll just do that, and we'll just put that up, and we'll just put this audio mixer out of the way for now. So this is our production today. If we click the grey button, you'll see all the sources that Tim loads up the production with each and every month. This is like 46 going on to 50. There's a lot going on in there. But we've put that all out of the way, and we've put what we're going to demo into a separate tab that Tim has called L. Funnily enough, L for list.
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we're on Sesame Street. L for list. So this list is right here, and it's got the traditional right-click menu. You can select any video clip by right-clicking it. That's all the same. If you're used to that, that's a great way to find video clips and so on. But you'll know, oh, hey, I need to quickly edit the list so that something plays next. Well, you'd have to go to Edit Items, and it would open up an Edit Items window. Well, now it opens up a brand new tab. So for those that know the tabs in vMix 17, you have Audio Mixer and you had Replay. Now you have the list, and this is what it looks like. It's got all the video clips in your list. It's got an easy to access box, so you can turn some on in the list, you can turn some off. You can add more video clips quickly and easily to the list. You could add more video clips. You could add 5, 50, 1,000. You can edit the items in the list. You can remove them, of course. You can shuffle them, and you can export them. So all of that is easy to access from this tab. And of course, as it's a tab, you can undock it, and you can put that up here, and you can put it on a separate monitor, anywhere you like. That allows you to easily access the list. But we're just going to dock it in again here. So we can put them on the list, we can move them up in the list, we can move them down in the list, we can do all sorts of adjustments for each of these video clips. And I can double click to load it up like so, or I can just click an item in the list and go, I want to play this time-lapse nature landscape right now. The producer says, hey, give me that time-lapse nature landscape stat. Well, I'll simply highlight it and click play out. And that's going to play that clip. I don't know why the producer wanted it, but he was pretty insistent.
I don't need to give you my reasons.
And that's it. And as you'll see, when the video clip finished, it just stopped playing because we have these options here. I can automatically play the next item in the list. I can automatically always start the list from the first item, and I can loop. So if I enable auto next, then it will jump to the spectators watch as hot air balloons ascend into the sky.
I should have renamed
that's
this.
That's a nice description, actually. It tells you exactly what you're going to get. So I'll play the time lapse again. And we go, okay, we're playing the time lapse, and after that we're going to watch the hot air balloons. And you can see now the final duration. Well, if you saw the desktop capture, I'll show you after. There's the hot air balloons, and it's going to keep playing each item in the list until I transition away from it. So you can see here, and you can see here it has 7 minutes and 52 minutes remaining. And if I started removing items from the list, you can see, you know, that's updating real time to show you how much time's left in the list. So this has been a really quick overview of the functionality, but you can see that we've made it easy to access and edit and run up video clips live quickly and easily without having to load all of those video clips into your production. And that's something I'll, briefly talk about, is the performance. The list doesn't load all of the clips into memory like inputs. It only loads the ones it needs to, and it preloads the video when it's just about to play the next one. So that keeps the memory in your system free. It keeps your graphics card memory free for other stuff. So that's the advantage of the list. Of course, you could drag and drop hundreds of clips into a category in vMix, but you know, you're not going to be able to automatically play between them, and they're going to use up a lot of memory and system resources. So the list not only makes it easy to create lists of videos and adjust them, it also saves on performance, so it helps out that way as well.
People use it for things like ads and that as well.
So the main case we built these list updates on, well, hey, they have a list of ads, but they only have 30 seconds, and their ad list goes for 5 minutes. The producer says 30 seconds of ads. Well, you can now quickly go to the tab, untick videos until it says 30 seconds in duration, and click play out. And then suddenly your list is going to play out 30 seconds. And so in addition, the final point, I'll talk about all those buttons as you saw in the list, you know, whether you're automatically playing the next, whether you're looping, whether you're playing from the first. There are also new shortcuts in vMix 18 to control all of that. So you could set up your MIDI controller or your X keys controller like Tim has to program different clips, to turn on or off auto next if you only wanted to play a single video. All that sort of stuff can be done from shortcuts. So we hope that this will help automate the fast-paced productions, particularly in sports, with the new list input. So
the new list input, yes, indeed. And I think that's going to be pretty neat. The fact that you can dock it and undock it means that you're going to get a lot more functionality out of it. John says he wants to be able to cache everything in memory. You can cache everything in memory. You just make a string of inputs. I was working with a client yesterday, and they had 254 inputs. About, maybe 240 of them were graphics, either videos or still graphics. And it was beginning to show, to slow down the system just a tad. So there is definitely a use for the list function, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a good one and well worthwhile. Now, one of the things that Martin and Tim don't show in that clip is that they made fun of me during the after show, during the post show. Yes, you saw me pop in. Well, that's what they had me do during their show. It wasn't like I got to choose to be there, and I would pop up and say NDI. So I decided, what's the best way for me to make a reply to that? And I thought, well, really what I want to do is show them my desktop. And this is my desktop. This is the way my desktop looks. Actually, I've cleaned it up for you guys today. And I thought, what better way to do this is then to put Martin and Tim in my desktop. So, here's Martin. And, no offense, Martin, but we'll put the keyboard right there. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. No, I'm just teasing. I'm just poking fun at those guys. It's always nice to be recognized, and so we wanted to recognize Martin and put him in a good spot. That was the keyboard. Moving right along with the show, because I'm dragging a little bit. I'm sorry about that. Skype has had some problems working with vMix and some others. And I think that Martin mentioned it in the vMix Fun Time Live show, that if you'll take a new Skype account and try that you'll have success. And for some reason, the older Skype accounts, like my Skype account, golly, it might be 8 or 9 years old. It could be older than that. I don't know. I mean, I've just always had it. But if you try a new Skype account, under a different email address, everybody's got more than one email. See if that doesn't work for you. That's going to be pretty cool. A little piece of news that the folks at New Tech, remember that's the mama and daddy of NDI, have come up with an app, or they're coming, I think they've come up with it. They haven't released it yet, but it's going to be soon, very soon, an app that will allow your Android or iPhone to become an NDI camera source. Ooh, I like that. Now, I think the folks at Sierra had one that worked with iPhone, but New Tech, being the democratic folks they are, they wanted everybody to have one. So they've come up one for Android and one for iPhone. I understand the one for Android was a little tougher to make work. So keep an eye out for that. That's probably going to be something that you want to put in your tool bag, because, what's better than having a camera on the fly? And frankly, these guys can make pretty darn good little cameras. I mean, I wouldn't do them for high action sports like MMA or soccer or something like that, but in a studio environment or in an event environment, it'd be pretty cool. What else? Martin's going to be in the U.S. again in November at NAB in New York and at Streaming Media West out on the West Coast. So if you are close by those places, you may want to check NAB New York and Streaming Media West and see if you can pop out there and tell him that Tom says hi. No, that's right. Just go up and find out about what's going on with vMix, because vMix 18 beta will have been released then, and the official release is pinpointed for December, it looks like. So a release next month, maybe even in the next week or two, a beta of 18, and the final release in December. Now let's talk about betas for just a minute. What's a beta? Well, a beta is not an alpha. An alpha is a version that is full of bugs. In fact, it probably has more bugs than features. A beta is an alpha where they've killed all the bugs they could find. That doesn't mean they've killed all the bugs. They've just killed all the bugs they could find. But you're going to have, if you download a beta and start using it, you're going to have a different set of circumstances, hardware, software, who knows what else, what other different circumstances that may show up as a bug. And the bug may be a huge bug. I mean, the bug may cause your PC to crash. So if you don't like to live dangerously, don't use a beta for production. Yeah, you can play around with it, but don't download it and play around with it the day of a gig, because if something messes up, you may not have time to fix it before your gig time. Now, the only person that's allowed to do that is me. And you know that if a beta comes out on the same day as a show, then I'm going to be downloading that puppy and using it to produce a show and seeing, let's see if we can't break it. And if all of a sudden you get this screen, you'll know why. Now, I used to be the one guy, one PC, one awesome broadcast guy, and I still believe in that concept. In fact, a lot of the streaming that I do is one PC based. But with NDI, it is so amazingly simple. If I can do it, it's got to be simple. NDI is so amazingly simple to use that you can use a second PC. So I've got my 10th generation or first generation, probably second generation, Asus Republic of Gamers PC out here. It's a G751 JT, which has got Thunderbolt on it and an i7 in it, and I think maybe just 8 gigs of RAM. Anyway, it's pumping it out there, just going over the network. and I'm delighted. What else is coming up? Thank you for asking. The projects that we have on board that we told you about last week have all gotten delayed. Got a PC on the workbench that we're trying to get out for a client, so that unfortunately had to delay some of the show. We had to do real work for a change instead of doing show work. But we still have our ceiling cam that Dave gave us that I can't wait to get in. We've got a stack of PTZ cams that we have been loaned that are probably they're ones that got returned because there was something wrong with them. So the folks at PTZ Optics says, sure, you can borrow a bunch of these, because what I want to do is see if we can't crash a gigabit network with the PTZ cams going in via Ethernet. And I've got 3 HD PTZ cams, and I want to see if I can't crash the network like that. So, and what was the third project? Golly, I don't remember. I'm sorry. I am beginning to believe that the more technology becomes advanced, in some ways, the simpler our streaming setups can become. I mean, the whole idea of eliminating a capture card by taking a video source, either NDI or like the PTZ Optics cam, just straight over the network and into the streaming. What do you call it in vMix? It's settings. No, sorry, not settings. It's input. It's just called a stream. So yeah, you just pick up the video stream from the camera over the network. So you've eliminated a capture card. I like the, I can't hold it up because it's all plugged in, the Behringer UMC 404 HD, which is a mixer, but it's not a mixer. It's a computer input. I mean, it's a audio input. So it eliminates the whole mixer shenanigans. I tell you what, I get a tech support call at least once a week from somebody who's struggling to make their mixer work with their PC with vMix. It just, it adds more complication to it than it needs. Here, the Behringer UMC 404 HD, you plug 4 mics to it, and you plug it into your PC via USB, and so now you've got 4 separate mic channels, and pow, away you go. And you've eliminated all the mixer nonsense. I like simple. Simple doesn't break as easily as complex does. Yes, there's a time for complex, but I like simple. John's saying, Tom, you're going to need more than 8 cameras to crash a gigabit network. And Martin S. says that the 404 HD is really easy to use. So there you go. May as well not do these projects. I'll just let you guys critique them in theory, and we'll never ever do them in real life and find out. No. We're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. What else? Whew. I guess that's it. That's it. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube live, come on into the chat room. Just be bold. Come on over to Eastern Shore Broadcasting and jump in chat before we get into post show. It'll be a lot of fun. Plus, you can chat with some of the folks. They're really nice. If you're watching us on YouTube after the fact, well, you've made it this far. You may as well subscribe. Come on, do it. And check us out on Facebook and Twitter too, and of course EasternShoreBroadcasting.com. Oh, by the way, this whole show is just a giant infomercial for our company. We design and build custom PCs for folks that are in the streaming business. We sell Magwell products, PTZ Optics products. We're a reseller for vMix. And we do a lot of consulting with folks that are trying to put systems together, or they've already bought a lot of piece parts and they want to make them work together. That's the call I love. It's like, wow, gosh, I wish you hadn't bought that, because now it's going to cost you an extra $2,000 to do this. And if you hadn't bought that, you bought this instead, you could have saved yourself that money. So if you're thinking about a project, if you're thinking about putting together a system, I'll chat with you for free. We can exchange a couple of emails for free. We can talk on the phone. We can Skype. We can do all that for free, just, for a little bit. But if it's going to become complicated, then yeah, we're going to ask you to pay us some money. I'm worth it on a good day. Anyway, I'm Tom Sinclair. This has been Streaming Idiots. It has been my delight to have you with us today. And we hope you'll tune in again next week for another exciting episode. Same bat channel. Yeah, there you go. No, seriously. Have fun. We'll check you later. Bye now. That wasn't a bad show. Some might even say it was a good show. Is he a good witch or a bad witch?